Hi, I'm Mike, founder of GoodBed.com. Today we're going to be showing you the new top-of-the-line adjustable base from Reverie. It's called the R600, and the signature feature of this base is something called tilt, which is something that's never before been available in an adjustable base. We're going to show it to you. Stick around. Now, previous to the R600, the top-of-the-line bass from Reverie was the 9T, and we did a very detailed overview video of that bass that we encourage you to check out. But in terms of how these two basses compare, essentially the wall hugger and lumbar features of the 9T that we showed you have been replaced in the R600 by this unique tilt feature that we're going to show you. But really all of the other features of the 9T are also shared by the R600, and they're numerous, and they were all covered in detail in this other video. They include things like, of course, the head elevation and foot elevation, the massage features that include head and foot massage, and a wave feature that goes back and forth between them, the remote, which has a lot of programmability and programmable positions that you can use, as well as a very sophisticated app that will control the bass via Bluetooth and allows for even more sophisticated, nuanced programming that you can apply to your bass. We talked about how it fits into furniture. We talked about things like weight limits and warranties, all of which are shared across these two basses and were covered in detail in that other video. So we definitely encourage you to check that out as part of your research of the R600. So now let's talk about this tilt feature, because that really is what's new and exciting about the R600. So what is tilt? Well, essentially what tilt does is it allows the bed to pivot on an axis that is right kind of underneath the center of the mattress right here. And it allows it to tilt both this way, with your head going kind of down and your feet going up, as well as this way, where your head go up and your feet go down. And it does that completely independently of how you may have the head of the bed and the foot of the bed elevated. So you can be totally flat and be pivoting on that center axis like this, or you can be in somehow an elevated position with your feet and head elevated and pivot the same way without changing the orientation of your body or the orientation of that sleep surface. You're just pivoting back and forth, which is very unique. So all that sounds pretty cool, but you may be thinking, well, what does that mean though? How does that benefit me? And the key is that having this tilt feature allows you to access some positions that you really can't access even on an adjustable base normally. And we're going to talk about a few of these, but the most important of these is what we call inversion, which basically means having your feet higher than your head. I'm going to actually get into an inverted position right now just to show you what it looks like. And again, the cool thing here is that you'll notice that the entire sleep surface remains flat here while I invert the bed, but my feet are going to be above my head. So just to show you what that looks like with me laying down here, it's pretty clear. It's still a flat sleep surface, but I'm inverted. Now, what are the benefits of inversion? Well, number one is circulatory benefits. You can think of it like you're on your feet all day at work, or you're on an airplane for a long time. Maybe you have swelling in your feet that comes from that sort of thing. Well, here you've inverted yourself. Like, this is kind of the opposite of that, allowing that to relieve itself. The second area of relief would come as it relates to your vertebrae, where instead of having the effects of gravity pulling downward on your vertebrae, you're reversing those effects. You're effectively having the gravity working the other direction, which allows those vertebrae to relax. And you definitely feel it when you're on the base. You feel as it tilts backward, you feel pressure shifting kind of away from your lower body, up more to your upper body, which again is just providing more relief in that lower body area. So those are some rather unique benefits of being able to access this inverted position. Now, we showed you what it looks like to go from a flat position to an inverted position without changing the surface of the mattress. You can also go the other way though too, where you put your feet below your head. I'm going to show you what that looks like. In this direction, you also will notice that once it gets to a certain point, the head does start to elevate a little bit. But you still do get this sort of opposite of inversion type of effect, where your feet are obviously being lowered down. And we've heard that this is helpful for some people in terms of making it easier to get in and out of bed. We've also heard that there are respiratory benefits to this, one of which is the anti-snore feature, which we'll talk about in a second. But even just independent of that, you can imagine how it might relieve some congestion to be vertical like this. And unlike on a conventional adjustable base, you're in a much flatter position while still getting those benefits of having your head elevated, which I think is advantageous to the extent that you're someone who does like to sleep in other positions besides your back. So I can have my head elevated and sleep, on my side, and that's not going to be a problem here. Whereas on a normal base, if my head is going to be this elevated, it's going to feel pretty my body's going to feel pretty twisted, pretty bent to be on my side position. So that's a nice benefit as well. So we talked about the anti-snore feature. We just want to show it to you and show you how it can be enhanced with this tilt feature. So here we are in a flat position. I'm just going to now activate the anti-snore. It's subtle, so keep an eye on this head of the bed. That's it. It's just a very subtle elevation of the head that puts you into a more like an anti-snore position. But what you can do here is with this tilt feature, you can accentuate that. Let's say you feel like you want to get even more head elevation. The feet go down, the head goes up a little bit. You're getting even more of that, again, without really just disrupting the sleep surface and allowing you to still access lots of different sleep positions while getting the benefit of that head elevation, that anti-snore feature. So the last position we're going to cover here that's unique to this base is what they call a true zero G. Now right now I'm in what I guess you might think of as a conventional zero G position with my head elevated and my feet up a little bit as well. And this is a position that is designed to kind of relieve pressure on your lower body and your back. But what you can do that's unique on this base is you can take this whole situation without changing the orientation of the head and foot at all and just tilt it backwards. And I want to also point out that this sensation of sort of just everything tilting backwards ever so gently is very relaxing. I really do like it. It's a nice relaxing sensation. Now I'm all the way back. I'm tilted all the way back. And what I can tell you too is that as I was tilting back, what I could feel is my weight ever so subtly kind of shifting just a little bit from maybe like my hips kind of up my back towards my shoulders. So I cannot speak to whether this feels more like being in space, but what I can say is that in terms of the objective of kind of relieving more pressure from your lower body and removing that pressure from your lower body, to the extent that that is something that you would benefit from, then I do think mission accomplished here on that. So the other difference between the R600 and the 9T that we wanted to quickly highlight for you is just the aesthetics of it. You'll notice that the fabric is different. It's sort of a sleek black fabric. And the other key difference aesthetically is this curve here. It's got kind of a very modern curved look to it. So that's something that you find on the R600 that they don't have on the 9T. So we hope you found this to be a helpful overview of the new R600 adjustable base from Reverie. For more information about how to find the right bed for you, go to GoodBed.com. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we really hope you sleep well.